Oh my god, I literally just spent maybe the past 3 minutes untangling my headphones because, gee, oh god, they were so tangled it wasn't even funny. And I don't understand how, because I put them down in the same way I always put my headphones down, and generally I can just pick them up and dangle them and they just unfurl. But nope, this time they'd created an impossible knot that I just had to try and figure out how to undo. So yeah, that was fun. Anyway, hello and welcome back to The Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt as always, and I've got a couple of things that I'd like to talk about. I've got one specific thing that I want to talk about, but I just want to maybe go over some random thoughts I had. So, first thing is, I'm sat in the back of my car again so that I can scream at the top of my lungs. But the funny thing is, my car is technically a 5-seater car, but you are not getting 3 adults in the back of this car. And I mean, I am an average-sized male human being, right? I am 5'9". I'm not particularly, and if I sat in the middle, you would not get 2 of me either side. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, maybe you could get 3 children in the back of my car comfortably, but definitely not three proper full-sized human beings. And the other thing is I got a haircut yesterday, which was a wild experience. Absolutely wild. So there is a normal barbershop that I go to on the hill, near my house, which I think I've mentioned before, but they were closed yesterday because it's technically a bank holiday. So there was a different barbershop, a Turkish barbershop, that I walked past to go see the other one. So there was a Turkish barbershop that I walked past, so I thought, okay, I know they're open, I'll go back and go in there. And oh my, what a wild experience that was. There was nothing wrong with it, to be perfectly honest. Absolutely nothing wrong with it, to be perfectly honest. It was just an experience. The guy who did my hair was rather not manhandling, but just rough. Like he did everything with a lot of speed and power, which I was not used to, but kind of just went with anyway. The haircut I got was really nice as well. TLDR, haircut was fine. The dude put a bunch of hair gel in it after the fact, and I ended up looking like a freaking grease reject. So yeah, that was fine. It looks good now that I've washed it and kind of settled it back into what I would consider my normal style. And it was only 10 quid, which is cheaper than the other place I used to go, so not worried. Right. So it is June, and I honestly thought that it should have been July for some reason. I don't quite know, but June, if you are not living under a rock, is Pride Month. Woo! Flags and fireworks and stuff. And yeah, I just thought I wanted to talk about the whole Pride thing a little bit because it's part of who I am as well. So let's start with that. Hi, I'm gay. I suppose that's the first thing you could say. That's a really bizarre way to say it. But obviously I'm part of the LGBTQA plus society or community. I can't think of the correct word. And that's where I fit. I identify in that scenario like millions and billions of other people do. And yeah, it's just funny. So because I'm really bad at introducing this. I'm so sorry. I think the first thing I should say is that I'm really kind of passive with the whole Pride and LGBT thing. Like, I've never been to a Pride event, or I've never really shouted to the rooftops about it or done anything crazy or wild because, I'm still young. I'm still kind of figuring it out and finding where I fit into the world and obviously that community and everything. And I'm learning, obviously, because being gay is one part of it. There's literally 5, 6, 7 letters now in our community because there's so much variety and so much of a spectrum of where everybody fits that I am just one part of it, right? So I'm still learning all of the different other areas and learning how best to work with everyone so that we can all have a better future and a better place in society. So I just thought I'll maybe talk a little bit about that and a bit about my story. I think the funniest thing is nobody knows that I'm gay, right, until I tell them, because I don't want to overgeneralize or stereotype or anything, but there's a broad range of what a person can be in any part of the LGBT spectrum. I never realized how many cars come in and out of this estate until I sat here. I've literally been sat here for 5 minutes and I think about 7 cars have gone by. That's ridiculous. But yeah, so I think the best way to explain it is I don't act in any way, shape or form gay. I act very stereotypically neutral, or from what I imagine other people see, I probably just look straight because of the way I talk, the way I act, the things I say, the things I'm interested in. I don't outwardly look like I'm gay, right? Which is hilarious because so many people don't realize, and then maybe they bring up something like, they'll make some sort of comment in relation to a relationship with a female or somebody who identifies as a female, and I'm just there like, yeah, but I like the men, and they generally the reaction is to go, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, I'm so sorry, and they're like having a mental breakdown. I'm just like, I don't care, it's fine. I know that I don't give off the vibes that would implicate to you that I am one way or the other, which I find absolutely hilarious. Because I think for me, and I know it's obviously different for everybody, I don't really care about telling people those kind of specific intimate details. I don't think it's, to me, something that people need to know unless it is important that they know. Like, for example, the only scenario I can think of currently is, well, two scenarios is when I start dating, obviously people will need to know because that's kind of the key element of it. And the other thing is, if I ever end up going to the doctor for any sexual health related reasons, they'll need to know that I'm gay at that point. But outside of that, it bears no difference to my relationships with my family or my relationship with friends or just random people. They don't need to know, right? So, and plus I don't care about telling them because to me it's just that part of me is, you know, the bit for my personal life. It doesn't impact my work life or my hobbies or anything else. So I do find it quite funny that I don't hide it, it's just the way I am hides it, but not intentionally, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not holding back, I'm not trying to shy away because I'm scared of being prosecuted or anything. I'm very fortunate to be in a situation where I could be openly gay and it wouldn't be a problem. And I know that's not the case for a lot of people in many countries, and even in the country I'm in currently. But yeah, it's just funny that the personality I have doesn't signal it to anyone, and it always just leads to those funny encounters where people go, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. And it was like, yeah, I know you didn't realize. But I think, like, for example, I came out to my family before I went to university because I naively thought, I'm going to university, I'm an adult now, things might happen. Nothing happened, by the way. Not for lack of trying, no, that's the wrong thing to say. Not because I didn't want things to happen or didn't try to make things happen, just because I didn't care, I didn't go chasing people to try and have relationships. I'm very passive when it comes to relationships and the whole pride thing because I just want it to happen naturally. I think that's what most people want, is things that just happen naturally. They don't want it to have to be either forced upon them or they don't have to want to force it onto other people, because that's all we really want. We just want to be normal. We just want, for people to not to not care, but to not make a fuss when we do something our way. If that makes any sense whatsoever. And I think perhaps conversely, the reason why people have pride events and why people celebrate it is because it's our time to kind of shout out to the world and say, hi, this is a thing, deal with it. We deal with your thing and don't make a fuss. It's fine. It's a part of life. It's a thing, and it's just there. And it's just, I think everyone just wants to be at a point where it doesn't matter who you are, what you want, what you believe in, or what you think. People just move on with their lives. You exist together. And that's a very idyllic thought, and we're miles away from that. But I think that's why people have pride events and why people have protests and movements and everything, because we're trying to push towards that idyllic nature. I mean, God, I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who, right, recently. Can you imagine if aliens actually came to Earth now, at the current state of society? We can't even accept our own people. We'd have a bloodbath if we had contact with another species. It would be nuts, absolutely ridiculous. Just, can you imagine the implications if we had interspecies relationships with aliens, and you couldn't categorize them under our current I don't know how to say things without it sounding really wrong. So how we currently say, oh, you're white or mixed race or black or whatever, even though the labels are stupid and I don't understand them. Can you imagine how we'd then do that with aliens? Like, oh, you're green or blue or you're yellow with polka dots. I don't know, that'd be so weird, wouldn't it? The minute we meet extraterrestrial life, assuming there is extraterrestrial life, our system of, I want to say categorizing, but that's really demoralizing. But that method of identifying people based on looks would completely fall apart because there's so there'd be so much variation. There's so much variation on Earth that it doesn't make sense to try and put people into groups. I'm rambling now and I'm ranting because I find the whole premise of everything just ridiculous. And I don't know if that's me being so naive and not understanding the full concept, but I hope that through the actions of groups of people that are trying to push things forward, I hope that we eventually progress far enough that nothing matters to the way it does now. Like, we need to keep doing the things we're doing, otherwise nothing will change. And there's so much that needs changing. It's kind of terrifying, honestly, but it's wonderful that it's working right. It's working, it's so slow, but it's working. You know, the progression you've seen for women's rights, and yes, I'm aware they're still really not where they should be by a long shot, but the progression of women's rights has been wonderful to see, and we need to keep pushing that further. Obviously, the progression of rights for black people from, like, you know, I can't think now. This is where my lack of history knowledge really comes to show. But, you know, like, the progression from full-on slavery in the 1800s to the point we're at now is really good, but there's still so much wrong with the system that needs fixing. And obviously the movement for the pride community, from obviously having it literally being illegal for homosexual relationships to the point now where you can have trans people and civil marriages, and there's more variety in, like, your orientation if you want to be like aero ace or things like that. It's really good progress, but we need to do that but like 5 times more before we're finally, or like not 5 times more, but you know what I mean. We need to just do that so much more till we're eventually at the point where everything is balanced. My brain's now thinking of Smash Bros because it's like things aren't quite balanced yet, and we need to patch everything and bring stuff up and bring other things down so that they're at the right level. But yeah, I'm really sorry if I've completely butchered how I've said things, because I'm just trying to get across the point that I'm happy and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm happy and proud of all of the progress we've made. But I also understand that there is so much more that we need to do. As I'm going to get older, you know, as I'm getting like a good paying job and I can settle my situation, I'm excited to start helping, you know, donating to charities. I'm looking forward to doing that when I'm financially able to, and spreading the word, because I'm very privileged. 100% I'm privileged at the position I am in because literally of who I am in the current society. So I need to use my position to help everyone else, because who else is going to help them? You know, the people that have made the society the way they aren't going to help, but the people that benefit from the society, like myself, need to help bring everyone else up so that they can benefit. So, like, for example, that's going to come down to who I vote for in elections, the companies that I choose to support and push forward, the charities I donate to. I'm looking forward to playing my part, however small, because I know any positive action to help others is the right action, or at least I hope so. Yeah, so this is probably going to be a bit longer one. I might cut stuff out because I hope you all enjoyed listening. I hope you have a wonderful Pride Month, whether you're part of the community or if you're outside the community but still want to help support. It's great to see. Show your pride, you know. That's the whole point. Show your pride. So yeah, I'll see you all next week. Bye.